Yo, what's up? How you doing? Welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be creating an image generation app using OpenAI API. So basically, we pass a text. Let's just say a black dog. All right, so we'll pass a text, and we go ahead and click on create. Then this is going to spin up the server. Then it's going to generate an image for us through our text recommendation here. You can see our URL has been created. Then if you check this out, yep, as you can see, it's working very fine now. All right, so this is what we're going to be creating. If you're add, please make sure you like and subscribe. So let's get started. All right, so the first thing we want to go ahead and do is create an account for OpenAPI. So head over to openapi.com. As you can see, so what you can go ahead and do is click on API right over here. Then you can go ahead and click on sign up or login. So I have an account already. I'm just going to log in actually. So I'm going to log in I'm going to log in my account. So I logged in with my Gmail actually. Alright, so you can see I'm logged in already. Once you're logged in, you just go ahead and open this image generation. Open it in another tab if you want to. Go ahead and open it in another tab. Okay, got so this is where we want to be at. So how I got the URL for this great images, I just converted this to core. So I was able to get the URL here. Then you need your OpenAPI API key. So to do that, to get that, all you have to do is I believe there is somewhere where you have to get a key. So go to personal here. You can see. Click on personal, then click on view API keys. I'm going to put this in a new tab. Then you can see your key in this place. So go ahead and copy that. Make sure you have that now. So once all this is set up already, what we can go ahead and do is create our project. So I'm going to seed into my CD. Then I'm going to seed into documents where I want to create my project. Then I'm going to create a new Flutter application. I'm going to call this image creation. All right, so this is going to create our Flutter application for us. And yeah, let's wait for this to finish up. All right, so once this is done already, we can seed into the image creation. Just clear this, and we can open this up with Visual Studio Code. Okay, so once this is open up already, you can go ahead and open up your emulator. So I'm using the LD Player emulator. In my case, I'm using the LD Player emulator. So once this is opened up already, what we want to do is now head over to our lib main.dat. As you can see, so before we clear all this thing that is in the main.dat, once we go ahead and install some packages, so I'm going to do Ctrl+Shift+P. And I'm going to add dependency. Then I'm going to install get and HTTP because I'm going to be using Getx and HTTP. You can go ahead and just click enter. You see it's going to install our package for us. And while that is going on, let's just wait. All right, so something like that has finished installing. Let's check if our emulator is up. So our emulator is also up. The first one to do is just go ahead and clear this dummy stuff. So I'm just going to clear everything here. All right, so once that is done, now in my lib folder, I'm going to create a file called screens. And I'm going to create another folder. Sorry, not for folder. I'm going to create another folder for controllers. So this is controller agent to put our Getx controller. And I think I'm just going to zoom this so you can see what I am doing. Let's go to text editor, font. Let's make it static. Okay. All right, good. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Good. So once this is done already, and then just increase this. All right. So once this is done already, you see we have an error here. Before that, let's just go ahead and clear this one also. All right. So you can clear this one. So the first we need to do is create our file. So go to the screens here. I create a new file called home.dat. You can call it anything you want actually. So I'm just prefer calling it home.dat. I'm going to call this home page. All right. So this home page is going to return a scaffold. I have an error that says Okay, then we need to import material.dat package. Initially, I don't know what is wrong with my emulator. It doesn't give me autocomplete like before. My code editor me. So yeah, we're just going to call it home page. You see, it's not going to. Oh wow, it actually did. Okay, so I'm going to add the constant here. Good. So once this is done already, let's just go ahead and run our application. Right. Yep. So let's wait for this to finish up. All right. You can see our app is now running now. Now let's go back to the own DAT. Now let's try and design a simple thing to use. Okay. So in our own DAT, here, what the first thing we want to do is have an app bar. So it's not like a beautiful design, but a normal basic design. So you can go have an app bar. The app bar will now have a title. You can have a title that says image creation. All right. Then we can just go and say we should center the title to be true. All right. So we should save this and we'll be having this right now. All right. So this seems fair enough. The next thing to do is remove the debug stuff right there, debug banner. I'm going to say debug check banner. Should check banner, and then I'm going to make this false. All right. So that should disappear now. And once this is there, we can go ahead and just make this elevation should be 0. All right. So remove that background, that shadow that is under it. All right. So once this is done now, now we have our body. So in this body, the first one to have is a padding. Inside this padding, we have we can go ahead and have a padding object. All right. Here we can have a edge insert dot all. I wrote eject here. Sorry. Edge insert dot all. Then we can just go ahead and specify 8.0 here. All right. So for our child, we can go ahead and specify a color. Then children. We want to have a row at first. To do so, we have a children also. Now you want to have an expanded. So you see the reason why you're using expanded. This one you are using expanded because we want to have our a text field under in our row. So we have to use expanded for the text field. We are going to just try this in a container. All right. So we're going to do decoration, box decoration. Okay. You'll see border dot all. So our border dot all, what are we trying to accept? We want to accept a color. So we can go and say color should be colors dot gray. Colors dot gray. All right. Then once we go ahead and have our border radius, so we can go ahead and do border radius. I will have border radius dot circular 10.0. All right. So that is okay. Then let's delete this. So yep. So right here we can have a child. So our child now is not going to accept the text field. All right, so it's going to accept the text field. Then we can go ahead and have decoration inside our text field again. Have input decoration. And the first one to have is a border. Let's say input border dot none. So we don't want any border in our inputs. All right, so hopefully you understand what's going on here. Then you can go ahead and have our int text. We want to have an index. The index, we can just go ahead and the image to generate. Okay. Then we can have content padding, which is edge insert dot symmetric. Then we can just get have horizontal. Horizontal should be 10.0. Okay. Then let's just add comma here. Then in this place I can just add const here. Let me add the const to the text field over here. Alright, good. So we want to save this. Head over back, we should be having this now. Now remember it's a row that we have, so meaning we still need to pass in another stuff in our row. So let's go to the row. After this expanded here, we're gonna have a constant size box. Alright, then we can go ahead and have a width of 20.0. We want to have width of 20.0. Next, want to have elevated button. Our elevated button, the on press should be none. They want to have a const text that says create. Right, so save this, then we check it out. We have that basically I don't like the elevation, so I will remove the elevation. So you say elevated button does style from. Go ahead and call elevation and make it 0. So the elevation is going to disappear, as you can see. Good. And once that is done now, what we can do is after the first after this row here, we can go ahead and have a size box, and we can have like one want to render out our image. So we have a size box. So this size box is going to be an height, let's be like 30. We're going to have a container. So this container will be a width of, let's just say, double infinite. And we also have an height of let's say 500. Let's just make it 300 actually. Then you can just go ahead and give it colors dot green. Save this and let's check it out. Very nice. So we have our basic boilerplate setup. Next, we're going to start by creating our controller. All right, now let's go ahead and create our controller. So our controller here, we're going to create a new file in our controller. In our controller, we are just going to new file. We are going to call it image controller dot. All right, so once that has been created already, remember that we installed Getx and HTTP, so that's what we are going to be using. So in this part, we're going to do class image controller extends Getx controller. So this is going to import our Getx for us. All right, so now we can go ahead and have our URL. So that is the endpoint. We're going to say URL.parse. I'm going to grab the URL from here. All right, so I'm going to paste it. Then also we also need the API token. So I'm just going to copy. I'm going to copy my API token from here. I'm going to paste it here. So initially I'm going to change my API token, so don't even think about using it. Then that is that. Then we also need final data. So like the data to pass our screen, that is our image. We're going to make it a string that is observable. All right, then we're going to have final is loading. So basically to know when we set our request equals to force.obs. All right, so once that is done, we can now go ahead and create a feature, our function, get image. So this get image is going to accept a required, all right, a required string, which is image text. We're going to call this async. All right, beautiful. So once we have that async, what we want to have our go ahead and do is have our try and catch error block. All right, then we can go ahead and do print e.toString. Okay. So once that is done already, we can have first thing we can do is have is loading should be true. Loading of value should be true. Then we can have our var request is equals to await http. Sorry about this. Dot post. So we don't have HTTP imported already. So let's go ahead and import HTTP. We can go ahead and import package HTTP, then HTTP.dat. Then we can go ahead and import it at HTTP. Good. So once that is done, so the first one to have is our URL. After your URL, we can go ahead and have our headers. So for these headers here, just get to grab what I have here. So we are going to make sure that your request sending is a content type. As you can see, is an application JSON. There we pass our BR token there. Then our body also, we can just go ahead and pass in our body. So we can say JSON and code. So that's going to import a file at the top. So you don't need to worry about that because it's going to import it. All right. And to close that. All right. So the first thing you need, the basic thing we actually need is just this prompt. Prompt is the text that you're passing, that you're providing to it. So you're going to call this image text, and which is this image text at the top. And then we have like its own kind of stuff. I'm going to pass in n, and this is 1 by default. Then you can also go ahead and pass in size. Like if you check the documentation, you can go ahead and pass in, you can see n and size. So I'm just, these two are not compulsory, but I'm just going to leave out the size because we want it to just give us the smallest size of all. Okay. Now, we can just save this and we should be good. Then what we can add is if request the status code is equals to 200. So if it is equal to 200, we want to make sure our is loading value should be false. So it should be false. Then once it's false now, we can now go ahead and do something like data.value. Remember it is observable. So we can assign a value to it. We can say using the code. So what you want to decode, request dot body, then data. We're going to select the data, then we're going to select the first index because it's a list. We're going to pick out the URL from it. You'll see the reason why we are doing this. So basically there's an error here. This is supposed to be like this. And also need to add, sorry. Okay, yep. We just need to come over here and do something like this, I believe. Wait, I think I'm kind of lost. Okay, yeah. We don't need this actually. What you can do is just add a semicolon here. So what I want to do is just print the value. We can go ahead and print data.value. All right. Then we can just go ahead and do else. This loading should be false. Or we can just go ahead and just print JSON the code request dot body. All right, so I can just copy this and include it here. So I just have to, I don't know why I just include it here for some reason. Oh, yeah, I don't need it here actually. It's only this loading. Good. So this one here, you're going to say what I try to do. So because it's a list, we want to grab the data, then we are grabbing the first index. We are grabbing the URL of the first index because if I should open up Postman, all right. So if I should open up Postman here, see our demo requests and our body. I'm passing in the body fighting banana. If I should send this, you see the response that we get back. Now you can see the response that we get by data there, which is a list. Then inside of it, there's a URL there. So basically that's what I'm doing. And if I should open this up in the browser, you see we have a picture of a fighting banana actually. You see? All right, so very nice. What we can now go ahead and do is bind this to our own controller. All right, so now for our own controller, we can just go ahead and do final image controller. So make sure to import your image controller. The image controller is equals to get dot put image controller. All right, and let's import get. So get is not importing. I'm sick and tired of this port fill kind of stuff. Get or that. Okay. Then also we need to have a final text editing controller, which is going to be image text. Let's call this image text controller. Is equals to text editing controller. All right. So once that is done, in our text field, we can just first pass our controller here. Image text controller. Remove this constant. All right. So once that is done now, let's go ahead and bind our result to the button. So our elevated button here, we can wrap this in a StreamBuilder. So I can delete this context because we don't want that. Delete all this, and also it should be OBX. So we want to do return. So this return here, we're going to do image controller dot is loading. So we want to check if this loading value is true. If it is true, we can gotta have a constant center with a child of circular progress bar. Circular progress indicator, I mean. All right, save this. Then we now have to go to our compress, make this async. Then inside here we can go ahead and do await image controller dot get image. So that's our function name. So get image is now going to accept image text controller dot text. I'm just going to trim it. All right, good. And at this point, we're actually done already. But before we do that, we want to go ahead and render out our image to the screen. So meaning this container here, we have to wrap this container with an OBX also. So drop a StreamBuilder. We're going to delete this. And also delete all this. Then this, so it will be OBX. So we're going to have an OBX here. So once that is done, this return here, we're also going to do we're going to check if it is actually loading at that moment, because we don't want it to be null by default. Like when you open the app, it should just be null. So you have to check if it is loading at that moment. So we're going to say constant center again. I'm going to have a child circular progress bar. Progress indicator, I mean. All right, so once that is done, here we can just go ahead and remove this container decoration now. We can now go have box decoration. So I'm going to do image controller dot data dot value. This data is remember is this data that we created at the top here. This OBS here. Now we are trying to get the value from it. Okay, so we are going to check if it is not empty. All right, so we are going to say value dot is not empty. So if it is not empty, we are going to have a network image. So this second image is going to accept a URL, which is basically the image controller dot data dot value. All right, then we can just have else. So you can have a network image also. This network image, you can just get and pass in any URL you have. So just going to pass in URL I got from Google. All right. I'm having an error, so the have image controller is not empty. Down to have this. Like, what is the error I'm having actually? I'm trying to figure it out. So let me just check it. Oh, yes. I think I made a mistake somewhere. Yep. So basically, we can cut all this like this, and yeah, you have to specify image. You have to do decoration image actually. So inside here now, you can have a go ahead and paste this. So save. All right. Just save that, and yep, we should be done by now. So let's just restart and open our application. All right, you can see we have the demo image here. So let's wait for it to restart. Let's wait for the demo image to load. Yeah, and you can just say Messi winning the World Cup. Okay, now I should go ahead and click on create. This is going to load up. We're going to spin up a server, then we will just have to wait for our response. So let's wait. So you can see the URL that I told you about has been generated. Then it's going to be rendered out here. You can see we have Messi here winning the World Cup, and which is actually very, very nice. So if you go to their website, I think they use this a white Siamese cat. I don't know what that is. So I can just open my emulator here. What if I just paste it there and I click on create? Let's wait for this. I see the image has been generated again. It's going to now show it up here. All right, so I believe this is an heavy image. Yep, I see it's not showing up now. So basically, we have an AI image generator using text. All right, so if you like this video, please make sure you like and subscribe. See you next time. Peace.